Countdown.
So
Break
this should
down,
go.
everybody. Uh-oh.
You should be seeing.
Not much.
My computer's
chilling at work.
frozen.
It's, why are you not seeing
There.
this?
It goes now.
Okay.
It went now.
Yeah. There we go.
There. It goes now. It went now.
Whoa! What's up, my friends? Hey, somebody let us know if you can hear us, if you can see us. Yeah, let's start with those two things and see how this goes.
You can hear us. Yes.
And
I see Smugglers from Jeff.
we have success.
I can
How are you
hear
guys
and
this
see.
evening?
Woohoo! We're good.
We are
We're
doing
slow.
something a little bit different, and we hope you guys enjoy this. We're going to start with introductions. To my left, my lovely bride, Carissa, a.k.a. our queen of scream, Reese, does all the editing on all the videos. Say hello.
Hello.
That's about what we always get.
And
That's about right.
you may recognize the gentleman to my right, and you may not. He's not wearing his Stormtrooper helmet today.
Yeah, normally I have the Stormtrooper helmet and staff, but I'm coming out of my shell.
He's coming out of his shell.
The white shell.
This
of
is
all of
Mark.
them.
Mark has been in numerous videos going all the way back to the very first Smugglers Room episode. And he was dressed as Boba Fett, if any of you remember 4 years ago.
That awesome dance that Boba had.
Yes.
Yeah,
Was-
drinking coffee through a straw.
yeah,
I believe that's
That's the
what
only
it
way
was.
to do it.
it's the only way to do it.
So we've brought all of us together tonight to do two things. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes.
Yeah, that's two.
We wanted to talk a little bit of sci-fi horror. As you can see behind us, we got a project we're working on together right now. And we also wanted to let you know about our Bloody Real podcast.
Some of you are
Some of you
very
are
good
very
fans
well.
already.
Yes, and we
Yes.
appreciate this. This is the Bloody Real gang right here, the three of us. Credit given to the amazing animation and drawings from the sketchy guy Nevada.
Who
Cameron?
is on the line here?
You
Yeah.
are
Is it the
amazing.
line?
Yes.
It's
On the line.
On the line? Is it
Yeah.
on the line when you're doing a
I'm
live?
old school. On the phone. On the line.
We're doing old school on the
On the
line.
line.
Okay. Anyway, thank you, Cameron. It's amazing artwork. For many of those in the Star Wars room building community, Cameron has done so many different pieces of artwork for everyone,
Yeah.
which is awesome. So wanted to make sure that you kind of understood about that. And we thought we'd do a little bit of crossover. It's Halloween. So
Favorite holiday?
Spooky's coming out. We do Star Wars stuff on this channel, but we also thought it'd be great to see what crossover we could talk about. What projects could we build that are geared towards the spooky, right? The unsettling.
Yeah.
So, you folks and friends that are in the chat, real quick, I've run across the fact that James from the Rebel Base Build is here, and it's 2 a.m. in England right now.
James.
Oh man.
I don't know
I
what
don't know
you're
how you
doing
do
awake.
it.
We have Lisette Trujillo, which is a huge supporter
Yes,
of what
and
we
Joshua,
do around
I
here.
saw as well.
Joshua's on there. We have Kevin Conka is on there. And by God, I hope I said your name correctly. But he makes incredible banners. I've seen Ron, the CG artist, is here. My friend Dennis from the Black Market Outpost is here. And those are all members, by the way, Ron, Dennis, James, and myself of the Almost Star Wars Show podcast, which
Yes.
you should check out. Selfless or selfish plug?
Both.
Both?
Let's go with both.
Let's go with both. It's a
Today
happy
it's
hour.
both.
Why not?
Yes.
My sister from the Healing Hut, TCM Apothecary,
Yes,
is in the
she's
house.
on.
And we'd be wrong not to give a big thanks to Wayne Bacon.
Yes.
Yes, Wayne.
Wayne, thank you so much.
You're awesome.
Wayne's been around the Smugglers Room since probably the first episode ever,
And
and he follows the Bloody Reel.
yep, and I can see him plugging it.
Yes,
Just telling everyone here to go listen.
I know there's more of you in the chat. We're going to get to you, I promise. Okay, so let's kick this thing off. Let's start somewhere. Somewhere's better than nowhere.
Do I need to
beginning.
start singing?
Yeah.
If you'd like to.
Oh, I sweet. No, I can't do it.
Can't even think of the song. Let's start with
Let
the
us
very
know if
beginning.
there's any lag or any problems with the audio. Please let us know. And if there isn't any issues, we're going to go ahead and dive in with
Brian's
Alien.
itinerary.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I wanted us to dive into Alien. we do a lot of Star Wars building on this channel. It wasn't intended to be a completely Star Wars channel. Shocker, I know, but it has become that. But the three of us love horror movies. And in meeting Carissa many years ago, we discovered that one of the things we loved the most happened in the Alien franchise, specifically Alien and Aliens. Ridley Scott, 1979, and
James Cameron, Aliens,
1986.
86.
You know, I'm really bad with dates. Early 80s. It's early 80s, something like that.
Yes. Perfect timing for it.
Right. So behind us, you've noticed we've got a project going, and we've mocked this thing up in the shop, which it doesn't quite fit in here. It's not OSHA regulated the way it's hanging behind us.
It will fall over if you touch it.
And the reason this came about is that we wanted to come up with some kind of backdrop for our horror movie podcast, The Bloody Reel. And we thought, what better than the Alien Nostromo interior?
Yes.
Now, if you've never seen the Nostromo, this is a clip here from Alien, the video game that came out on Xbox, PlayStation several years ago, the Alien Isolation, which has some incredible artwork that they took directly from the films.
Right.
And then you have things like the bridge,
cockpit.
the cockpit where everybody hangs out.
Oh, man.
And let's take a look also at the corridors.
Yeah,
because that's
Oh
important in sci-fi.
You can't have sci-fi without corridors, right? So one of the things I love about the Nostromo, if you're looking at this image here, is that these big bulky structures, those are the back of rear projection televisions. That's what that is. Now, I've worked in the AV industry now for longer than I want to admit on live. It's amazing that they just took something so simple to then create something so iconic.
Yeah. And so interesting, and you would never know. He says that to me all the time while we're watching it, and I'm like, where? I don't see it. And then you do realize how big those TVs used to be,
right?
And that it's right there in front of your face.
They used to be massive.
This poor woman, her whole life has been me standing next to her watching a movie saying, do you know what that's from? Do you know what that is? That's pretty annoying.
Yeah.
No, because I do that when we go out to restaurants. I'm like, do you know where that light's from?
Accurate.
So you guys are a perfect fit
We're
with
good.
that.
We're good. Right.
So I want to, before we get going too far, I want to pose some questions to my co-host here.
All right.
Let's start with
Okay.
Carissa.
Okay.
Ladies first.
That's totally fine.
Yes.
Why the Alien franchise?
So if anyone's ever listened to any of our podcasts, you know that I never have one singular answer for any question. I will try my hardest here. Not to maybe steal any of Mark's thunder, but we grew up watching spook movies. And one of the movies that the both of us can remember very vividly is watching Aliens.
Yes.
And while a lot of kids were running around playing cops and robbers, we ran around playing Aliens. So Mark was always...
I was always Vasquez.
And I don't even remember who I was. But we just grew up with the franchise, and it's a staple. Yeah. And it doesn't age.
No.
It doesn't age like other movies from the 70s and early 80s. And yeah.
Okay.
Well, I just remember watching that movie so often with you, and then with our friend Shane. We'd get the Ruffles out, right? And that Lay's bean dip that probably is still in there from 20, 30 years.
Disintegrate at all. Yeah.
So we would just rear up and throw in Aliens. And
Joel says they mostly come at night.
Mostly.
The amount of times, Joel, that comes out of our mouths, we could probably throw a party if we put a quarter in the jar every time.
So it's interesting that you folks were Aliens, but I was more drawn towards Alien.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us why that is.
Yeah. Give us a little insight on that.
Let me get started. No, I it's interesting because Ridley Scott, this is one of those subjects that when it comes into my brain, there's so much things that happen that the words can't come out. But I think the number one thing I'm drawn to is the look and feel of Alien. Alien was like the dark Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can see that.
They took what they learned in Star Wars from a standpoint of basically set decoration, prop creation, and so on. And it's not shocking because you may or may not know, Roger Christian, who designed a lot of the sets, the interiors, the props, and things for Star Wars, was also hired to work on Alien. And so I think there's a really interesting crossover between the two films.
Right.
So that draws me first. And it's just such a psychological terror of a movie. And I think that I want to make everything in Alien, but I also can watch that movie and continue to be terrified the whole time.
Right.
Oh, I totally agree. It just, that whole movie was tense, and the way they build up the entirety of the storyline, and every step of the way is kind of an exploration for the characters. And there's not one moment where they get to breathe. And that's not even just in the script or the movie itself, but Ridley Scott himself added to that stress for these characters. It was amazing how he basically made their lives probably a living heck while they were doing the movie. I mean, for one instance, the sets, he had them move in the walls of the rooms without telling the actors or actresses.
Like day by day, he would move the walls in closer.
So the space would get smaller and smaller.
Smaller and smaller. And could you imagine, as an actor, like, this is an already claustrophobic area, and the next day it's even smaller.
Because they built the sets so that once you were on the Nostromo ship, you were on the Nostromo the entire day that you were shooing.
Yeah.
So you're surrounded by that.
It's just brilliant. Yeah.
And then you bring in Giger.
Oh, right? Giger, yeah. The guy, if you know his artwork, I mean, you know what we're talking about when we're just sighing heavily for his work.
What is it called?
Bioerotica, I think, isn't it? I don't know.
We can say hell, by the way, Joel. We can say hell. We don't know how many kids are watching, and kids, make sure you drink your apple juice.
Apple juice. Yeah, Giger definitely had a massive influence on what Alien and Aliens look like.
Yeah. Very, very erotic. Very sexual.
Yep. We can say those words too.
Okay. Well, I'll just stop there.
It's accurate. It's accurate.
Take a moment.
Oh man.
So yeah, I think that, as this pertains, this is the Smugglers Room. So we build
biomechanic. Sorry.
Biomechanic.
Yep, I knew it was something
exactly
technical.
Right. Yes.
It just
Nailed it. Who was that?
That's Illustrated Lefty.
Nice.
Good perfect. Call. Good call.
Thank you.
But yeah, as we build the Smuggler's Room, which is heavily influenced by Star Wars, there's always been this desire that we add something that speaks to this horror genre. And my gateway to horror was Alien. As a matter of fact, I was 8 or 9 years old, right? Yeah. Do the math, Mark. I was born in 77 and Aliens came out in
86.
There it came.
8 or 9. Somewhere
8 or 9, right? And we had gone to see the film, and I came home and my dad said, well, we've got to see Alien. There was an original. And of course, my father, being the amazing man he is, the Junkyard Jedi, as I'm laying on the sofa watching Alien and the facehugger comes crashing out of the egg, he slams his hand down on my face. Hence, he's the reason I love horror movies, because of that moment.
That was the first scary moment of your life.
It was my gateway drug to horror. So for the room, we said, well, what can we build down there that the aesthetically would tie together to the Smuggler's Room?
Yeah. So essentially, this door will butt up right next to the wall that we've already built.
Right.
And sort of be a seamless change from one genre to the next, but not really a big jump because they're both sci-fi.
They are. And to be fair, on this channel, we have built things, right? We have built a replica of the motion tracker from both Alien and Aliens.
Oh, yes.
We also have a pulse rifle
but yes.
downstairs. So we've done multiple things in that genre. Yeah. I think it ties well together.
Yeah,
I totally
definitely.
Agree.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
If you do some Nostromo work inside your knockoff Millennium Falcon work, does it work? Can I say work again?
work. Well, and while you're answering that question, the corridors they make me think of Star Wars. I mean, your basement build the way the wall walls and everything comes together in those corridors from Alien. Just it meshes well with your builds and everything. So
it's sort of that dirty used universe look.
Yeah,
the used universe, right? Universe. Yeah, that's the term we throw around all the time is the used universe, and that wins a triangle. Yes. Because I think that was Roger Christian's whole concept was this used universe aspect of things. Okay, I want to get to a few questions and acknowledge something before we go too much further. Okay. We'll get back into this.
I did want to bring up a comment I saw because I think that there are some thoughts to this in the room. Jason Holmes said Alien 3 is criminally underrated. Granted, it's not as good as the first two, but it is close. Unlike Resurrection.
Was it Jason that mentioned this?
Yeah.
So Jason, in about 7 days, you need to check out the Bloody Real podcast. We did an entire franchise review of Aliens.
All of it.
We went through all of it.
And funny enough, we discussed that topic exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't agree with you more.
Yep.
Just a few things with Alien 3 that we weren't crazy about at the beginning, but
overall,
we do really like it.
Definitely.
I want to give a massive, and massive isn't even the right word for it, for our Smugglers Guild Patreon community. You guys are incredible, and you have no idea. Everything we do is because of you. We're able to do that because of your support. And when we got ready to do the live stream, I reached out and I wanted to get some questions from the community. Specifically, we'll start with you guys. We'll make sure to answer questions in the chat as well. But here was one from Gage Martin. And I said one, but really I mean 10 because he had a lot of questions. And we're going to try to do this as efficiently as possible. The first thing he asked is, what's my favorite project I've ever done?
Oh, I can't start with that.
I can. And funny enough, it ties directly into tonight's episode. It's the face hugger that we put in the containment tube.
That thing's awesome.
It's definitely one of my loves.
Yeah.
Love.
It was a complicated build. I avoided it for years because I was worried I couldn't get the right kind of tube, the right size of tube. And I think we pulled it off. I wish I had a photo to share with you guys.
Yeah. We pull it up here, but it's kind of big.
Yeah. Anyway.
And we don't want to let that face hugger out.
Yeah.
Sure. No. That's a dangerous,
dangerous
situation.
Day for all
don't
of
let
us.
Burke buy him.
Yeah. Careful, Burke. The second question he had is...
Was Mark any of us gonna? Do we all get to
answer? You all get to answer.
Oh, my
goodness.
Well,
sorry. What's the favorite
Well, I'm not
smuggler?
ready yet. Mark needs to go.
I mean,
did you see how she put the spotlight on you like that?
It's like, we got to do it, but here, go, Mark. Go now. Okay.
That's how I roll.
All of our Smugglers Room projects, what's your favorite?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of them, but like the margarita maker,
oh my gosh,
that one's fantastic. And the fact that you made it look like the generator from Star Wars, the moisture evaporator. Thank you.
He's a horror film.
I live more in the dark, but we
do call it Mark's Dark Corner on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that was a great one. Any prop you can build that delivers a buzz at the end.
Oh. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kids?
Because you could make a whole...
Make sure you drink your orange juice.
What was that, a whole gallon? No. How many gallons
it was
that?
That's 5 gallons of margarita. Right there.
Yeah.
Yikes. Should probably be arrested for that. Okay, what's your favorite?
Oh, I'm still not ready.
I do like seeing some of the comments. People are saying, we got to watch Alien tonight.
Dude,
I love
definitely.
It. Please do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on. There was a question from Gage as to, does Olive have a Star Wars doghouse? She doesn't have a doghouse at all. Yeah. She occupies 3/4 of our couch in the living room.
Yeah.
Yeah, Olive
Which
is our
does
boxer.
Have a Star Wars blanket on
There
it.
is a Star Wars blanket.
And a blanket from The Shining.
Yes.
So we've got that as well.
So Olive's covered. No worries about her.
If she needs a small space to go into, we let her sleep in the closet.
That's a true story. If there is loud thunder or wind, she sleeps in the closet.
Yeah.
His next question was, what skill that you don't have now would you like to try in the future, basically, on a future build?
Oh, man, you have to make a note of sketchy guys.
Sketchy guys.
Rock with googly eyes.
Oh, my God.
Can we divert?
Remember that. Remember that.
Okay, remember that.
I want to finish Gages, but remember sketchy.
Yeah.
The skill I don't have that I want, and let's do this for all three of us because that would be great.
Yeah, I do.
I want to learn how to metal lathe. Dennis, I'm talking to you, brother. I want to learn how to do that. I think that would be incredible to be able to machine. What about you?
Oh, I got it. I got this one.
Go for it.
Well, I have a forge that we haven't set up yet. And not that we have the space for it, but I would love to learn how to blow glass.
Oh, that's awesome. Not make swords and axes.
Is it bad that I'm kind of turned on at the moment?
Just let me go home first. I'm a brother, man.
That's right. If you didn't know, Mark is Carissa's brother.
Yeah, we didn't really.
We didn't talk about that.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we are related.
Okay. What about you? What skill do you not have now that you'd like to have for a build?
Well, I tell you, it's been amazing to work on this fantastic wall because I actually don't have any skills that you guys see on this show. So for me, this has been an awesome experience, and I've really got into the weeds with the power tools.
So Mark cut all these patterns that you see. He's cut all that stuff out. Now, we didn't use a CNC. We didn't use a jigsaw. We didn't do any of that. Or I'm sorry, we didn't use a CNC. We didn't use a laser. This was all with jigsaw, router, table saw, very traditional tools.
Hand sanding, paint brushes.
Man, I was really frustrated.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
It was like, this won't fit in the laser cutter.
You see that?
Who was that? So Made For. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, very much.
Can you pop it up there?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
Sorry, we haven't done the live thing in a while.
Apologize, folks.
Yeah.
We have. It's
apologies on 2 levels.
It's been a while since we've done this.
One I can add to that too, just being able to work with these two when they've had so long with this show and so much experience already. It was so cool to just have them kind of show me what's going on there and oh no, did I?
Bob did with the clamp. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I mean, Brian telling me how not to, chop off fingers and hold things right, and I don't want to be part of a horror movie. I want to be like, building something for our show, not bleeding all over the place.
Made For, thank you very much for the super chat.
Thank you so much.
And believe it or not, my friend, we bought jigsaw blades specifically for this project so we can get a nice crisp edge on all of that.
Look at that. It looks so pretty.
I'm going to go back up too because our friend Cameron, the sketchy guy, also sent us a super chat as well because he wants to hear everybody scream. So my goal is let's see, can we actually make everyone that's watching the live stream scream? And I'm just gonna put this one up because I can't find the other one, Cameron. But let's all scream on the count of 3. We're all gonna scream, including you. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that was weird.
Well, I don't know. I was afraid to blow out the mic in your eardrums.
Well, I
Sorry about that, everybody.
Oh, you muted it.
I did because I was a little terrified of what would happen. Thank you, sketchy guy. I appreciate that so much.
There we go. Perfect. They're all screaming.
Joe Solo.
Holy
Joel.
Solo. You're awesome, man.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Hey, appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Weird
Thank you.
heart.
Yeah. You guys are amazing. This community, honestly, it's been life-changing for us.
I don't want to get verklempt again.
Yeah, we don't want to cry, but it's been awesome. Every single one of you that have been part of the Smugglers Room community, as well as part of the Star Wars Room Builders group that James and I launched, just all of it has been incredible, and we thank you for it.
Yeah, and the bloody reel.
And the bloody reel, yes.
Small and growing as it is.
Small and growing. If you like horror movies, and here's the truth, so our mother-in-law Terry, the sweet angel Terry. My mother-in-law, their mother, Terry, she doesn't like horror movies, but she listens to the bloody reel because it's fun. So even if you don't like horror movies, it's just the 3 of us.
Oh, we're just
It's not really. It's not a scary podcast.
No,
we might talk a little bit of blood and guts, but it's not like watching the horror movie.
No, not at all.
And we think we're pretty funny.
We think.
I think I'm hilarious.
I'm pretty funny.
I'm constantly hilarious.
I think I'm funny.
You're funny.
Sometimes.
man.
All right, so
We'll
dive into some more questions here.
So I did see Sketchy Guy Nevada Cameron. Can you build a rock with googly eyes?
Oh man.
Well, I don't know if you noticed in our video that we posted this morning. I don't know if it could be seen. My pumpkin that's kind of in the background has a googly eye on it.
Did you see the video today? I know it's not Star Wars at all. It really isn't. But Krista did an amazing job on the bloody real Book of Horror. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't checked it out, have a look at it today.
Don't say too much.
It's a lot of fun. And it's part of a 3-part series that includes this wall.
Yes. So the rest of the month.
You really just need to watch it because you have to be able to
because then you won't know what's going on. Otherwise.
I think that answers someone's question. I saw it come by. Someone asked if we were going to do a video on the build of the wall.
Oh, yes. 100%.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I lost where that was. So whoever said that.
No, that's great. Yeah. So you will see this. It is part of our horror trilogy. We love Halloween so much that we've done things like the Chucky and Carbonite. We did the last year we did the Stormtrooper zombie, which Mark was the zombie. And then we did something like the Blockheads the year before. It's just one of these things we love to do, and we love to share that with you. So let's get a couple questions in here more.
We had a question: where to find us? Where to find the Bloody Reel, the podcast, or maybe it was the other podcast. I'm not sure.
Well, you can find the Bloody Reel. We do have a YouTube channel that we've secured. There's no video on there yet. That's about to come in 2023. You can listen to the recording, the podcast on Spotify, Apple. You can go to Buzzsprout. But the best place to go is bloodyreel.com. Thebloodyreel.com.
Yep. And you can also actually find it on Amazon.
Yes. And Amazon Music, right?
Yeah. Or Amazon Music. It's
podcast.
The same thing.
Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can find us.
You should be able to find us.
We're there. And we're being ridiculous all the time. Okay, so let me go back into the Patreon group here. Back into the Patreon real quick. Gage also asked, do you guys, Brian and Carissa, did we meet in a galaxy far, far away? Yes. It's a little planet called Fort Collins, Colorado. On a really
far away up north.
Strange battle station called Colorado State University. Yeah.
The Student Center.
We did meet at the Student Center.
It's a magical place up there.
It is.
It really is.
When we were there, it was amazing.
We made it magical.
We did make it magical.
Yeah. So we met in college. She changed my life. Everything has been the yellow brick road ever since.
Now I have that song in my head.
No.
The one with the Munchkins, we represent the light. No, that one.
Not that one. No.
Okay.
Stop that.
Stop that.
He also asked if we do fun outside Halloween decorations.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Not as much as we want.
Not as much as we want. I think next year will be our outdoor decoration.
I hope so.
And haunted house.
Oh.
Sadly,
Yeah. You know, Jamie Dull from the Outer Rim is in the chat today. I saw his name. He's here tonight. Jamie Dull from the Outer Rim does the most incredible Star Wars Halloween ever. And,
oh my gosh.
And it's actually so amazing that I want to go just to see his outdoor display.
Yeah, totally.
So I was going to try to find a comment from you, Jamie. I can't see it right now, but.
Right. And then one of our Bloody Real listeners.
Oh, man. Jamie, yeah.
Another Jamie.
Yes, another Jamie.
Yeah.
It runs
Apparently
in the
that runs in the Jamie.
In the name.
It runs in the Jamie. It runs in the Jamie.
Road trip.
Oh, man. Her decorations on her house, she builds entirely new front doors to have, like this here, hopefully I'm not ruining it for anybody that might be there, which would be nobody here, I'm sure. But they're doing the Stranger Things theme.
Cool.
And in front of their front porch, they have a huge wall, and it's the entrance into the underworld, or what is it? Upside down world. So, and it's that creepy.
Oh my goodness.
I hate to say what it looks like, but it's like red, and the vines are coming out and everything.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
Vaginal a little bit.
That's what I was hinting towards.
He wasn't going to say it.
No, he wasn't. I did it. I got it for you.
But
as I turn red.
She goes all out.
Junkyard Jedi's in the house.
Oh, hey.
Thank you guys for being here. Yeah. You guys have seen builds from him?
Mom says she'll do cleanup.
And
your mom does clean it.
I've been asked a few times. Actually, the Junkyard Jedi's name is Dan. Not to give anything away, I call him Dad. It's just kind of a thing I do. One of the questions in here was, when will the Junkyard Jedi make his miraculous return from thwarting the Empire at his local Walmart gardening section, as shown in videos past? So you're being called out, Dad.
Yep.
It's time for the Junkyard Jedi to stop tinkering and actually
get out of Walmart.
Let's get out of Walmart and let's get another video out there. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let me throw one quick in here.
Yes.
Texas Haas has a question. Do y'all have a favorite quote from Alien movies?
Ooh, ready, go.
Oh, don't start with me.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
Aliens. Is this a trend with her?
It is a trend.
It's always a trend.
I don't think in the podcast we really start with her with most
No,
things.
you don't, because that's what I do.
Because she needs 5 or 6, right? She needs 5 or 6.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
Mark,
thinking.
what about you? Do you have a favorite quote?
Well, I mean, Aliens, I think Chris and I could almost quote the whole thing, almost verbatim from start to finish. I would bore you guys with them all here, but my favorite would have to be bleeped out, but Hudson is one of my favorite characters.
Oh, my gosh.
But one of the scenes, especially when Vasquez is doing pull-ups, right? And she's this BA chick that's just pulling up. Oh, man. And who is it? Hudson says, what does he say? He says,
have you ever been
hey,
mistaken
Vasquez,
for a man?
Have you ever been mistaken for a man?
No, have you?
That's one of those classics.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you? You got one?
Well, there's a few that we say all the time. And one of them was already mentioned here. They mostly come out at night, mostly. And we do that all the time. And then affirmative.
Yes, affirmative happens a lot. Alien is my favorite film of the franchise, but my favorite quote is from Burke in Aliens when he's like, why don't I make a fire and sing a song?
Yeah.
You can count me out.
Yeah.
Hudson has some colorful words there too.
He does.
Hudson has the
some
best quotes.
stuff now, man.
Rest in peace.
I mean, one of the
Then we'll know. When will then be now soon. That's another great movie.
Yeah, you can't really.
Not bad.
Joshua says not bad for a human. That's a great
these.
one. That is a great
And
one.
of course, get away from her. You.
Yep.
You
very, very bad word.
Gosh, why are we holding back so much? We swear and
this
then
is a
bleep it out,
family
I guess.
show on the
Okay,
Smugglers
you're right.
Room. We don't.
Yeah.
If there's any children watching, they need to drink their apple juice and not say bad words.
Say Garland's workshop.
Yeah, okay.
Hudson associated lines are the best. I mean,
Garland. So talk about someone in the Patreon community that's a huge supporter. It has to be Garland. Garland, we appreciate you so much, my friend.
Thank you
so much.
We Mark likes that character so much. His son's middle name is Hudson.
That's correct. His middle name was Hudson.
Little tidbit there.
And when your mom found out why it was,
the
look on her face made me
like,
so happy.
She's like, "Oh." It's like, yeah.
And we were just like, yeah. That's my happy dance.
If you could do a Star Wars horror movie crossover, what horror movie would you put into the Star Wars universe? Wow. Wow.
Can I go first?
You know, I think of, go ahead. Do it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
you were on a...
Well, I immediately think of Event Horizon kind of...
Yes.
I mean, it's a bit different, but I always think of that one with pure horror sci-fi.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you could bring that into Star Wars. I mean, it's kind of like...
Yeah, I don't know if you could. I don't know if you could. What were you going to say?
Well, I'm a big fan of paranormal. So my head jumps to right away. I mean, I guess we have the Force Ghosts, but you know, that's pretty happy and positive and very tame. But
I don't see Qui-Gon as very haunting.
Do the Siths have the same thing?
Well, you've got and Dennis is in the chat. He could probably speak to the I'm going to butcher this and I apologize, Dennis, but it's the sisters, right? The Darth Maul's, the witch sisters or 7 sisters.
Ooh,
Dang it. You'll have to tell us. Ron brings up a good point here, the CG artist.
Okay.
So he's asking us, so Prey is good. Number one, yes, Prey is very good. But to answer the question about what Star Wars horror you could tie in, Predator would be a perfect tie into the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Brian hit that one. Yep.
Hey, do I get a triangle?
Game over, man.
Wait.
Do I get more than one?
There you go.
Do I get 3?
Did
oh
I
my
hear
god!
any of those?
Do I? Oh, I'll turn it up for you
No,
so that
that's
you can
okay.
really hear when I hit that.
There it
Yeah,
is.
we got it.
I mean, what does Pennywise look like in Star Wars? Throw a clown out there. I mean,
He's like an angry Jawa.
Yeah,
Pennywise
I mean-
is an angry Jawa.
I'm sure he'd
Yeah.
scare some
Could
of them
be
out.
any of those.
Could be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do have
Creatures.
a from Jettisonable 3D.
Oh, Genesis.
Um,
Oh man,
Yeah,
thank
this
you
is
so
awesome.
much. Thank you.
I'll read it.
Yep,
He
there it
says,
is.
"Thank
Find
you for all that you do to keep us inspired. How much longer till we can book a night on the Phoenix?"
Oh, okay.
That's a good segue.
So that is a good question. And honestly, that's another question that came from us from Bobby Rogers, who's an amazing Patreon supporter. Thank you, Bobby and Jettison. Okay, so the Phoenix is alive and well. It's still happening. What our amazing clients out of North Carolina discovered is there was a lot of challenges that they had with the water table rights and getting all that squared away, and then pulling building permits for what they're doing. Because honestly, the tree houses of Serenity, as they're known, and they're going to be changing that, which is amazing.
Mhm.
They have 5 properties that currently exist, and they've done amazing with Airbnb with that. When they got ready to do the Phoenix, which is what we're calling the ship, and a couple other projects that I don't want to spoil that they're doing as well, they had to do a lot of different things with permits. The biggest challenge there being that it's taken so long because of post-pandemic of getting someone to do the inspection on the mountain, because they have a mountain that they're building this on, which
Right.
is incredible.
Yeah.
And then, Chris, they also ran into something recently with Airbnb.
Yeah. So we even have it in Colorado here. We're not in California.
We're not in
Colorado,
California.
but some state officials and I don't know who really wants to crack down on the Airbnb or the short-term rentals.
Yeah.
They're limiting those to certain areas, or they're restricting it from certain areas in different states. I know that up in Steamboat Springs, they just enforced a new law about that. So we also just recently found out that North Carolina in
Asheville. Yep.
Thank you. They're doing the same thing. So they have to now contend with that as well.
So the challenge overall has been a lot of logistic things, not so much whether or not the project is happening.
Right.
We've got a full design. We've got a builder on board. It's a builder they've used before. The architect, Jeff Schwartz, has worked with us closely. So the whole thing is exciting. We haven't talked about it much because there just really hasn't been much to update.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it. And they're committed to doing it. I think it's all going to be a matter of time.
Matter of time.
It's happy hour at the Smugglers room. Yeah, it's going to be a matter of time. So it's happening.
Yeah.
I love some of the ideas that are being thrown around.
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You've got a Tuscan Raiders versus Tremors.
Oh my goodness! And you guys are huge Tremors fans.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
I can honestly say I had never seen the film.
Stampede Earl.
Yeah. And yep.
Oh.
Yep. No, I was waiting for more.
I found the beep and
Found the ass hand.
Oh,
Oh,
they awesome. Oh.
family friendly.
family.
Family friendly.
Well, you can say that word on TV.
On the
can't you?
radio too, can you?
I don't know.
There's
These
a fine line
days.
sometimes. Yeah, that was
And
the
I
Outer
also
Rim.
never
saw
know. We never know.
Barry Human. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Is the Thing in space, which
The
is
Thing. So the Thing is another one of our
Oh,
favorites,
man.
and
Oh,
we've
yeah.
actually made a flamethrower
Mhm.
on the show,
Yes.
and my lovely Carissa dressed as a man. She dressed as
McCready.
McCready,
Oh man, if you had those.
and there's a
pictures.
photo of us kissing.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Have you
Real
ever kissed a
strange
man?
at night of my
Seems
life, but it was
strange.
amazing.
Very
But
strange.
yeah, she wanted to be McCready from the Thing, and I wanted to make a flamethrower. So if you go back, I think that's
Oh,
that's
it's
probably one of our first Halloween
2019
Oh man,
projects.
maybe
2019. That'd be the first
2018?
year. No, 2019.
Okay.
those
One of
costumes
those.
are
Yeah,
fantastic.
we did a flamethrower using PVC pipe and a 3D printer, and
And the beard was good, but weird.
I stole the
Oh.
pressure washer handle, and I told her, you guys wouldn't believe how often this happens in my life. I took the pressure washer apart to use as the actual flamethrower, And she said,
we had just recently bought it.
Yeah, she said, you're going to be able to put that together, right? Like back together? Yeah. I lost the connector.
Yeah.
So
So we have a flamethrower.
If anybody has any suggestions on how I can do that.
Oh, man. That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway.
The head with the legs.
Oh, yeah. James mentions that he loves the head. You know, when you watch Adam Savage, you oftentimes can see behind him up above in his shop, which his shop I love. He's got the head. What was the character's name that turned into the head?
Oh, no, it was the doc. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't the doctor. It was
Niles, wasn't it?
No, not Niles.
Oh, man, I can't believe we're...
Oh, gosh.
Somebody tell me, who was the head?
The chest opens?
No, well, the chest opening was the character.
Same guy.
it's
But
not Niles.
It's not Niles.
It's not Clark.
No, because Clark.
Somebody will tell us. I promise you, somebody will tell us. Anyway, the head is fantastic. Yeah. You're right, Jake. You're right. 100% correct.
One of the I want that prop. The head with the legs with the, and thank God for other horror movie fans. Not sure how many of you have seen the new versions of It, but they've got an amazing tribute to the thing.
They do.
It.
You gotta be
the second
effing kidding me.
Yeah. I love that. I love in horror movies when they do that. They just they
the
reference the classics. The Easter eggs are just fantastic all over the place.
Yeah.
Can I call out the chat? I apologize, folks. The chat is going so crazy that it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
But there's a few people I keep seeing and Props and Villainy. So if you guys are not aware of Props and Villainy and you haven't been to his website and you haven't checked him out on Facebook, please do. He builds incredible control panels and all kinds of different things that he makes out of all kinds of random stuff. And I'm a proud owner of a piece. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you for being here tonight. I
mold Chris's head, then make.
Whoa, let's see that.
Oh boy,
I see a project idea. Mold Chris's head and make. I love that. And you know what's funny, Wayne, is I actually asked Cameron if he could, when he drew her for the bloody reel, if he would actually make my face, and here it comes. I'm going to make this a little bigger for you. I apologize. It's going to be a little
wonky.
There's the face, and it's me. I said, hey, can you make her stepping on the thing's face and make it my face? And he did, because
there it is.
Cameron's amazing.
That's awesome.
I'm just advertising the bloody reel.
I mean, that is us sitting at the table, just reverse.
Yep. We're in a different order.
Man, we really should have done that right. We sat wrong.
Oh, we need a Brian in the middle to drive the bus.
Yeah, I'm a terrible bus driver, and I've been drinking apple juice, so God knows how this is going.
Well, going back to, I think, your very first question long ago, Brian.
Yes.
I think you asked, well, in the very beginning, Chris was talking a little bit about, aliens and how we were brought up watching it and everything.
Yeah.
And, I mean, did you get to explain why you liked Alien so much?
Yeah, I mean, it all revolved around basically Roger Christian and Ron Cobb. I don't think I mentioned Rod Cobb. If you ever want to just kind of get a look at somebody whose ideas about taking NASA to a different level, Ron Cobb was one of those artists that did that. There's standards.
Oh,
symbiotic standards. Did I say it wrong?
Yeah,
I never pronounce it right.
No, I'm not going to get it right.
But look that up. Look Ron Cobb alien standards up, and you will see a whole slew of different, basically little graphics that he did that helped the people on the ship that might have spoke different languages. It helped them identify things like no pressure beyond this door, no gravity beyond this door, different random things. And right up here in this space, there's actually a piece that goes up there, and there will be some of those standards cut out.
Right.
And funny enough, I've taken some of his artwork and reworked it so that I could make those, laser cut those, and put them around the shop. And in kind of a comical way of, don't cut your hand off with this tool. Don't airbrush your face with this tool. That kind of stuff that I just kind of wanted to have around the shop because I thought it would be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to grab a couple of questions here from the Patreon community as well.
Before you do that really quick, because I just love this idea.
Yeah.
And it speaks to how I was trying to inject my my horror like into the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
Illustrated Lefty says Poltergeist / Star Wars would be very cool.
There you go.
Ooh.
That's one that I can pretty much quote as well.
Yeah,
word for word.
I could get behind
but
that.
I can't watch that movie. Brian won't let me watch that movie.
Terrifies me. Terrifies me.
Even if he's not really watching it.
Would the lightsaber kill an ethereal creature? A supernatural being?
No, but the force choke might. But
I don't know.
But would it?
Would it?
Yeah, would it?
It's a good question.
All right, we need your input.
Okay.
That's a good question. Yeah. Jimmy Santos from our Patreon. Can you explain what differences in aesthetics are between the franchises like Star Wars and Aliens and others? And which way can they be incorporated to look seamless? That's an awesome question.
Yeah.
And we've sort of touched on that with basically when you bring someone like Roger Christian from Star Wars into Alien, he's obviously going to bring some of that with him. But when you look at parts of the Nostromo, for example, you're looking at, and I'm putting this up on the screen, you're looking at different aspects that directly tie to one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon in some ways.
Sort of.
With
right.
different,
Yeah.
I mean, the geometries are a little different. The
right
Millennium
angles.
the Millennium Falcon has the curves.
But it also has the pads.
The
pads.
pads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pads on the walls are pretty consistent. Is that because they might fall around a lot in the ship? Or?
I've always wondered. It's like, do they need pads because they need to fall into something?
I mean, definitely the Millennium Falcon, the way they fly that thing.
Right, seriously.
So
You'd
true.
absolutely have to have that. I think that's also true of, this is a shot of the shuttle from the Nostromo.
Right.
And when you listen to the behind the scenes of the model makers, they talk about specifically building this avenue here as reference to the trench run on the Death Star.
Yep.
That's awesome.
They wanted that same
flip it
feel.
around.
Right. Yeah, they wanted that feel. When they shoot Kane's body out, it comes out of this area. And they shot it with a slingshot, basically. I mean, when you research it, it's a little better than a slingshot. It was actually a fishing device to launch bait. But it was high powered. And if they shot it at a higher frame rate, then they could shoot this little wooden carved Kane body through this trench on this fishing bait launcher. And that's what you see in the film. But they talk specifically about that as being the concept. But it was the Death Star trench.
Yeah.
So they use the same techniques to do that. So I think that
there's like that. There's also that like space gray. Things in space are always gray, except if you're Imperial, you see black. If you're in Cloud City, you see white.
Well, I mean, even Imperial sees black, gray, white. It's just that monochromatic color, right?
Yeah.
So if you took a board and you glued a bunch of random stuff to it and you sprayed it all space gray, it changes its entire look and it just becomes something else.
Right.
It's super wild. Yeah. Yeah.
Toilet flange.
There you go. Toilet flanges, space gray with a juice lid in the middle.
I was going to say,
boom, you're done. You're done.
We're all happy.
We're all happy. Genesis Waffle from Patreon wanted us to know, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Prometheus and the sequel, or I guess the prequel to Alien Covenant. I love Prometheus, and it looks like I would love to see and it looks like and would love to see the blend or incorporation like Jimmy mentioned. So talking about the design from Jimmy Santos. We got a lot to say about that stuff, right?
So in our podcast that will be coming out covering the franchise, we talk in length about Prometheus and Covenant. And I didn't like them at first when they came out because I think I was expecting the xenomorph type from Aliens and Alien. And at the time I was disappointed. However, through the last several years, I've grown to love that story and finding a storyline that gives an actual dated line of how things happen.
Right.
Right.
Like even when Wayland is born to when Wayland creates Wayland Corporation and everything to that, and how Prometheus and Covenant play into the entire franchise.
Yeah.
It actually opened my eyes to more of this world that exists with Ripley, with xenomorphs, with the engineers, with David, and the drone or droid,
AKA Walter.
Well, yeah, Walter.
AKA.
I love the way those movies played out. It just, it wasn't aliens at first. So
it wasn't our known xenomorph and facehugger.
But that's okay.
It wasn't what we were expecting to see, right? I think that all of us kind of left that theater going, dang it, I don't want to make anybody angry, especially in the Star Wars community. I had similar feelings when the prequels came out in '99.
Yeah,
it was kind of like, we're not where I was with the original trilogy, and then Alien Covenant comes out, which was much how I felt with Attack of the Clones from Star Wars.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a parallel between and it's Ridley Scott and it was George Lucas. It's their reimagining or their idea of how that stuff was developed is always going to be different from how we feel about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that just jumping off the diving board that Mark just laid out, I don't know what that actually means, what just came out of my mouth, but it did.
You make just up your own sayings. That's okay.
Springboard. There's the word you needed.
Diving board.
Dive in.
Dive in.
I think as far as the visuals go for those movies, like the Prometheus ship is one of my favorite ships.
Oh, it's incredible.
In sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
cool.
that, and I loved Serenity from
Firefly
and
from Serenity.
they have a similar look on the outside, but it's a really cool ship in Prometheus.
And a lot of the architecture inside resembles the Nostromo, the door shapes and door, this kind of design. It's funny you bring that up because Ridley Scott talks in his interviews. There's a show called The Beast Within. So if you've bought Alien on iTunes, for example, and you download and you buy the special edition, you get The Beast Within. And it goes through the whole concept of Alien to the end, and it's fantastic. But he talks about in there that he wanted at the time he made Alien to see flat, clear acrylic panels that had all the computer stuff on there. Yes. Which is what you see on Prometheus.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But it's a really good movie once you get past the fact that, we as in serious Alien and Aliens fans are not seeing the same Alien or Aliens.
It's a great sci-fi.
It's a great. I mean, Charlize Theron. Come on, man. You could do better than that.
Be with the one you love. The one you're with.
Oh man, Idris Elba is so great in that movie.
Like cast was amazing. The storyline was really good. There was just that one component.
Yeah.
It
deviated just slightly enough from everything that,
Like,
going back to something earlier, and it kind of talks to the setting of these movies. I love Aliens for many more reasons than just what we've explained already, but I just love how that film is shot. So just to look in the film of the sets, and Giger also, I think, is partly how my brain works. So
that's a really good explanation.
Oh my goodness.
What's wrong with Mark? Well, he's influenced by Giger.
I mean, that's my
dark corner.
Everything I love, like heavy metal music, that makes me think of Giger. Like that's where just my love is, of that kind of darker feel of things. Yeah. And so Mark's Dark Corner, that's kind of
derived from that. Yeah, that makes sense.
So just you add that to the sci-fi elements, to the way they filmed it, and everything is this dark blue, this gray, this dreary looking place. I just absolutely love how that movie was filmed.
Yeah, it makes you feel. I always think of the movie The Matrix.
Oh yeah,
and
olive green.
The olive green, and
right.
And the juxtaposition of the
blue from the real world,
from one world, or the reality to the Matrix, essentially. And it's just, you play with those different colors, and it spawns an emotion when you're watching the movie. So when we're watching Aliens or Star Wars, if you think about what that color scheme on the screen is actually doing.
Yeah.
Psychologically.
Right.
So in Alien and Aliens, it's dark and, gritty and it feels, the darker your space is, the more claustrophobic it feels around you.
Because you're focusing on the light from one particular angle.
And it just, that adds to that, that
yeah,
effect.
Absolutely.
It's that tone.
That
the tone
draws you into it.
That emotion. Yeah. So I put this up a second ago. Jason was asking, Aliens was inspired by Star Wars. Makes sense that they'd overlap. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's a number of things that speaks to that, Jason, where it is, Star Wars comes out in 1977. It was being filmed and whatnot in 1976. And Dan O'Bannon, who was the original concept of the story of Alien, he worked on Dark Star with John Carpenter. And all of that stuff is happening sort of in the same few years there. And then when 20th Century Fox, who produced Star Wars, makes all this money, of course, the first thing they're going to look at is, what's the next science fiction film I can rely on while people are excited? And they go polar opposite of Star Wars and they make Alien. But it's how it got greenlit. And there are a lot of different people that, other than Roger Christian, that worked on the film. Actually, there are folks that had to leave the film that were working on the model of the Nostromo because they needed to go work on Empire Strikes Back before the film was done. If you ever watch, I wish I had a clip of this as well, but if you ever watch the Nostromo, it gets, when they decide to go to the planet, there's an arm that pushes the Nostromo out and lets go of the refinery that is towing, because it's a towing vehicle.
Right.
And on the model, the perfect pieces for the model were miniature R2-D2 legs that they used. And I promise you, if you watch it, you'll be able to see those legs. You see the iconic horseshoe, and they talk about it.
Yeah,
It was
and
like,
you mentioned that like this week, and I have never, ever noticed that before.
And now you'll never unsee it.
And now I will never unsee it.
Brett asks us, what about good, bad sci-fi like galaxy horrors? Do we have, what do we have in that category?
Starship Troopers.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't seen Galaxy of Horrors. I'm assuming I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah.
But you're bringing up a good point here with sci-fi and horror, because we live in the world of horrible movies.
Yes.
More often than like having
great ones.
movies.
Yeah.
But Starship Trooper comes to mind. And that's a cult classic now.
That one is horrible.
Oh, what's that
one
we
is
watched
horrible.
This last year with Bruce Willis?
Oh, the
moon. No, that wasn't even the moon one.
Oh.
I don't even want to talk about that one.
Well, but we could bring that up because the panels we have in our shop here that a lot of you, I think, have bought, they used it in that movie.
And they
overused it.
I can't even. The movie was so bad. Anyone.
So bad.
I want to remember Bruce Willis in sci-fi movies as only The Fifth Element, and then call it a day.
Yes, there's another great sci-fi.
Yeah.
Oh man, some great ones here. Steve
I
Slenderman,
know.
Ice Pirates.
Oh, sorry. I would love to
Ice
see
Pirates.
a Star Wars story with Guardians of the Galaxy kind of team trying to resolve a fight between bad. Oh my!
A big fan.
There was a traffic jam in my brain because I love this so much.
Yeah, and someone mentioned Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh
too.
my gosh!
Named Brian.
Gosh, yeah. Is that Brian with a Y?
Yep. And then Ryan Kelsey, Event Horizon. Yes, these are all fantastic.
Yeah, Event Horizon. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Event Horizon, without a doubt.
Garland's Workshop says he dreams of aliens to come to a live action TV show.
Oh, live action TV show.
Ooh.
So actually, they're in production.
Yes.
Of an Aliens series.
Yes.
Hulu. I can't remember if it's Hulu or
no, it is Hulu.
Hulu.
Yeah, it is Hulu.
They're in the works.
Who brought us Prey?
And I can't remember the person's name. However, he is trying to tie it into the way Alien and Aliens were came out. Like he's trying to follow suit with those movies as far as how it looked, how it felt. So that would be something on my radar.
we talked about him in the Aliens franchise podcast, right? Crystal will find it. She's got our notes up. But yeah, you're right. And actually, if I remember from the notes, Ridley Scott mentioned that he was in full support and became a producer of it.
Oh man,
he was so moved by inspired.
Just got chills.
Yeah, I mean that would be great.
We haven't even discussed something here about these movies.
Yeah.
What is
the
Xenomorph?
Xenomorph?
The Xenomorph.
Yes.
Yet another
We're kind of
reason.
missing that. We've been
in a
talking about
package. I don't know if you
the
can see
ship packaging and everything, but yeah, the Xenomorph.
Xenomorph.
It's one of my favorite creatures.
Yes.
It's
Is there a more
amazing.
perfect creature out there?
I mean, the thing is cool. The thing is amazing, but the Xenomorph, the warrior Xenomorph, is my favorite. I don't know. Acid for blood. It's a formidable creature. It wiped out all the crew in Alien in what, 12 hours was it? 24 hours?
24 hours.
24
Less
hours.
than 24 hours.
Less than 24
Killed
hours.
my entire crew in less than 24
You
hours.
can kiss sis goodbye.
You're right. And it's such a cool design. I also like that what they did between Alien and Aliens with it. Alien, it had a kind of a clear dome. You could see a skull in it.
Which is just, it's almost disturbing to think
disturbing, right?
about that you
Oh my
could
gosh.
see something under something else like that. I don't know why that's so unnerving.
Yeah, and then the mouth that pops people's brains like
Two
popcorn, like pop.
mouths in it.
Oh,
yeah.
it's- In our episode that will be coming out, we discuss briefly the different type of aliens that are throughout the entire franchise, because there is a difference and there is a reason.
Yep.
Even if we didn't know that at first, and we're sitting there going, "What?
We know it now.
What? Who does a predator alien? Why?"
There's several folks in there talking about the Skeleton Crew, which is going to be somewhat like Star Wars versus Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Skeleton Crew, the main actor, he's from Sherlock Holmes. He plays Watson.
Oh.
Everybody fire me. Everybody fire me.
Bilbo Baggins. Or not Bilbo, he's Frodo. No, Bilbo.
No,
not.
He's not in Lord of the Rings at all.
No, wait, you said.
He plays Watson in the Sherlock Holmes with.
Oh, the other version. The movie.
Oh yes, okay. So you were on the
I
right.
was on
you were
the
the right.
Sherlock
You were
and
on, yes, I'm
the
talking
UK
about the TV, not the TV show, but the movie
movies.
with
Jude
Robert
Law.
Downey Jr.
Oh,
Thank you.
I got really excited for a minute.
I'm going to get yelled at. Sorry, Dennis. Jude Law. Yes,
Jude Law.
Desi's in there.
That's good
Hey,
too. We like
man.
Jude Law.
Hey, Bill. How are you, buddy?
I
Welcome. Yes, Jude Law and Jude Law. And Jude Law. And Jude Law. And oh my gosh.
Jude Law.
And then
Even
Desi
Desi's saying Jude Law.
Hi, Desi.
This is one of those
and B.
moments where
Hudson,
you're
by
just
the
like,
way.
God, you're
I'll
so
accept
stupid.
But
Maybe I just reset by changing the camera.
Oh, we forgot about this camera angle.
I know we did.
Well, it's kind of funny because earlier I was like, "Yeah, we can quote that movie verbatim," and then I'm like, "But." Forgot the quote.
Put you in front of the camera and everything just falls out of
The
know,
Jude
it's
Law
interesting.
aspect is exciting, right? Because that is supposed to be kind of a, I don't know. None of us know a whole lot about that.
He's amazing.
Show, but
It's
a
been
live
described
action.
as Stranger Things in space. Oh man, I love all of this going on.
There
Brian,
you go.
how did you not tell me about this?
There are so many things
I
with
rely
Star
on
Wars
you.
that I have in my brain, and
rely
not
on you.
enough I can share with you in one moment that you'll remember.
And half the time I'm like, does it have ghosts in it? Then I don't care.
I have absolutely no words right now. That's the truth, though.
That one, yes.
Oh, here's a good one.
Oh.
Did you ever have an epic fail build?
Mm,
Every single one of them has
That's
an epic
not
fail.
true.
No, it doesn't.
Kermit?
Oh my
Oh, no,
gosh, poor Kermit.
No, you took him downstairs.
there is a project. Actually, there is a project for someone that wanted us to make a Kermit and Carbonite, and it's someone that wanted to pay for this to be made, and I've tried 3 times, and I have another Muppet Kermit sitting over there in the corner that I'm going to try for. This will be the 3rd time with it. The Kermit puppet itself is like a fabric, and so I've done multiple things to try to get the fabric to harden correctly,
Or
and
not
then-
just kind of melt away.
and not just melt. Like the first one, I melted all of the Kermit.
Which is so terrible.
Which you
I
could have
gotta
made a
tell you,
horror
I
movie
felt
off
kind of
that.
horrific.
It was horrific to watch it happening because I was like,
oh,
I was supposed to just freeze him. I wasn't supposed to kill him. So yeah,
been
my
better for
Kermit and
Chucky.
Carbonite has been one of the biggest failures I've had as a maker.
I like to think about it as a learning experience.
I always think of every time I look at him, I hear
Kermit
many Kermits died to bring us this information.
The making of this.
Just like in Return of the Jedi when Mon Mothma says many Bothans died. Yeah, many Kermits died. So that's my epic fail.
But I mean, that's got to be a huge part of what you guys do for Smugglers Room is the fails. I mean, how often have you failed? And it's not even, you probably don't even see it out there.
Well,
but that's a good point though.
But we fail all the time, right?
Sure,
like, okay, looking behind us, there's a failure.
Oh, yeah.
So
put a saw in my hand.
No, it had nothing to do with you, man. So these holes right here, this whole thing behind us, this whole door concept is a mirror image. There's a right and a left.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's drawn up pretty specifically and in depth.
To her point, she's drawn this. Chris has AutoCAD drawn all of this behind us perfectly. She's printed out multiple pages of this perfect design and given them to me so that I could use them as reference. And I still made mirror images of everything, which meant that when I was done and I thought it was time for paint, which is why it's not painted, I had to go back and cut the other sides of them so that I could create the opposite end. It's been a mess. Yeah, it's been a really big mess. This project right here is about to kill me. And I'm kind of worried that it's going to fall down behind me and then
literally like the Bronco out by DAA that literally killed its maker from falling on it. Yeah.
That would be terrible for all of you to see. But it would be right in line with Bloody Real.
Absolutely.
It'd be a final destination.
Yes, yes. And then, Di, since you're watching, you'd have to come and pick up the mess.
Kelly says it's a good time to be alive. Will there be Star Wars 100 years from now?
Hopefully.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so for Mark's son.
Yeah.
And then Mark's son's family.
I hope so. It'd be really sad if it wasn't. Kevin says a Kermit. You aren't kidding, Kevin. It was totally a Kermit puzzle. A puddle.
Yep.
Kermit puddle.
It was kind of a puzzle too because there was like, oh, there's a finger or a toe. I'm not sure. It was terrible.
Falling apart like a leper.
I did cover it with wood glue initially, Ron. I did. I promise.
There was another one that said spray it with Mod Podge. Mod Podge, I always say that wrong. Where did it go? Through a mini HVLP gun?
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what a
Yeah. We could do that.
Is.
So actually, I have found the solution was Mod Podge, believe it or not. Jay says, test it on Kermit first. Don't want to damage the... Jay's one of the best people. So if any of you followers of the Smuggler Room for a while, remember when we did a droid build challenge, Jay had some lovely young women make an incredible droid, and it was awesome.
Was the dancing?
Yes.
Yeah,
go find the droid build challenge and watch that. Yeah. Jay, thank you and your lovely ladies. It was amazing.
Look at Wayne Bacon there. Go back up. So Kermit turned into a melted gremlin.
Yeah, and we didn't even feed him after midnight. He just melted.
Unless our clocks went down.
I kind of wish we would have filmed the melting.
Oh,
it would have been really disturbing. Any kid that would have watched that.
Oh, poor.
Oh man. Kermit.
Yeah, straight up Bloody Real episode for sure.
Yep,
for sure. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, we killed Kermit, and that was the failure. I do want to get
let me just
go ahead.
little bit more on that too. I am of the belief that we do mess up all the time. We learn new things, we're trying new product, we're trying new materials, and we're always, there's always a test run. And I try to get Brian to film everything that he does, which he doesn't always do that, but we do kind of put some of those into our videos because, you're going to mess up. We're all going to mess up. And like the door behind us, there was some backwards, upside down parts going on or, any glue messes. I always have glue messes. I mean, but it's great to show that because it's going to happen.
Yeah, it happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the things about this kind of channel where we're building stuff is that if you don't show the failures, there's no way for anyone else to know how to fix something that is going to happen to them. whether it's because I poured epoxy and it got too hot and then it ruined, or there was bubbles or whatever.
Yeah. And then that the next time and you plan for it.
Yeah. So we try not to hide it.
Oh.
Yeah, we try not to hide it. Chris is really good about making sure we show it. I like this. So is having elements of Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who all in the same room an abomination?
No.
Not me. I'm just asking for someone else. Absolutely.
Well, I doubt you're asking for someone else.
Positively
but that's
not. No. Please do it.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
When James and I last year, it was early in the winter when we started talking about coming up with the Star Wars Room Builders group on Facebook, which is an amazing community. I'm so thrilled with it. It was focused around Star Wars. And as the year went on, we kept talking, the three of us, about this alien Nostromo aspect to the room. I think there's plenty of room in your room builds for all kinds of different things. And I think that should be celebrated instead of ridiculed.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you like it all, just do it. I mean, I don't know, just
if you like
spread the love.
Yeah. Well, we've got we have a bunch of Harry Potter props.
Oh, yeah.
That's totally.
Yes.
I don't think that's sci-fi in the least bit, but it's going to work in down there.
Yeah.
It's going to fit in.
Absolutely.
I mean, because especially since one part is the butterbeer carton, and that'll fit right, just behind the bar.
Absolutely.
And that's an entirely other world that you could just incorporate in somehow. Floating candles. I mean, it's another world. Just
You can
absolutely
transition.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
can be a transition.
I love. Oh, do you want to?
No, go ahead. You said you had one.
Revenant Manor. So he says, listening to the reactions to various sci-fi franchise sequels, I'm curious to know how Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, was initially received, and if the perception has evolved. So we as Bloody Real, we did release. It was a while ago. I think maybe last
It was
Halloween.
last year, right?
Last Halloween, because we were looking at the Halloween franchise that came out last year. We covered that, and I think if it was not part of the Halloween franchise with Michael Myers, it could have stood alone as a good horror.
It could have.
Maybe B-rate, but it definitely was. It could stand alone in some ways.
It needed to be rewritten and redone.
A little bit.
Right?
There was some.
It had possibility.
There was a lot of cheese factor.
Oh yeah,
potential.
And I think that the reaction to it when it first came out was, where the heck is?
Where's Michael Myers?
Where's Michael Myers?
So the fan base got pissed. And that's why that movie gets so much bad rap.
Yeah, correct.
But it is a cult classic.
That is a cult classic.
Yeah.
James has a great one in here that I wasn't thinking about when it comes to sci-fi, and it relates to like Ready Player One, which we're all a fan of, and it had that whole remake of The Shining in there.
Yes.
Oh man,
absolutely loved it. If that's the
Love
question, we absolutely loved it.
Room 237.
I
mean, seriously, that big mechanical guy's like, hey, you can just stay in the tub and whatever. Yes.
Oh man,
love anything to do with The Shining.
The Shining.
And that was a great.
Stephen King.
Oh my gosh,
Stephen King, huge.
Definitely.
The Ready Player One movie and book both. The book, I read the book first.
It was good. Yeah, me too.
It was like a love letter to the 80s.
Yeah,
especially if you were the people that liked horror movies, regular 80s movies, games, all of that.
It sums us up in a nutshell.
It does.
In a nutshell.
That was awesome. You guys don't live together at all.
Oh God, we
By
are
the way,
so in trouble.
Ready Player 2 book out, I think.
Oh,
and I like it as much.
Oh, you read it, listened to it already?
I did.
Okay.
Did you like it?
I haven't checked it out yet.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Joyce wants a sonic screwdriver in her belt.
Sonic
screwdriver?
Yes,
I agree. That from Doctor Who.
Gotcha. Yes.
I remember watching Doctor Who with my dad as a kid. And
we watched that too. We did watch that when we were kids too. Like, I never saw the phone booth the same ever again, right? Because you thought you'd go in and I don't know.
Yeah,
the other one is Quantum Leap. They're redoing that show.
It's already out. The new one.
I don't know what. I don't know.
Why do they do that? I guess I shouldn't judge. Right?
Have you seen it yet?
No.
Quantum Leap
why I shouldn't judge.
The original Quantum Leap was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. The Shining remake scene was pretty good. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Greg, you're right. It absolutely
we could talk about The Shining and Doctor Sleep
hours.
and
Yeah.
King Supers.
King Supers. We love King Supers.
King. Wow.
It's so terrifying.
My brain just did that somehow. Yeah. For hours. Finish that sentence.
Oh, my wife has a bunch of Labyrinth and Dark Crystal stuff.
Oh, man, amazing.
I want to make a Skeksis so bad.
Oh my gosh! We don't have space.
And I'd love Did you hear that? Whenever I want to make something,
need a bigger boat.
Chris's first question is, "Where are you going to put that?"
Well,
if I asked that question, the thing behind me wouldn't even be standing right.
This has a place.
It has a place now. I'm just saying that our biggest conversations are, "Where are you going to put that?" I can't live my life with I want to make and where I'm going to put. I'll just send it to somebody.
It's in my nature. You've not gotten rid of anything yet.
No. My goodness.
Mark's just kind of like, oh, awkward.
I'll do a little dance over here.
Okay. All right. What else we got in here that we need to answer? Questions. We've got 15 minutes left, and then I turn into a pumpkin, or you do?
I turn into a pumpkin.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to turn into a pumpkin.
And I turn into Jack Skellington.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yep.
Yeah. What questions do you have for us? We kind of went through. I wrote an outline for these guys,
which we never follow,
and I never follow any of it. I tried to stay on it.
What's funny? Okay, so if you listen to the podcast, Chris and I do the outlines.
Yes,
this is the first time that. Yeah, you'll have to hear it because this is the first time that Brian's ever put any notes in an outline.
And then he decided before we even started not to follow it.
I started out. I asked a question or two.
You count down, begin, opening, intro, and then introduce us.
Yeah. It was a good start.
That sounds like a solid start to me. Yeah. Here's a question from Jason.
Yes.
Jason has an awesome place in Greeley.
Oh.
Where he does incredible model work on trains. So that takes me back to my childhood with my dad and the trains. But he also has a sci-fi area of his trains.
Oh,
and it's
so cool.
You need to check out his YouTube channel, Jason Jensen Trains. Take a look at it. It's some incredible techniques and things you can learn. He says, "Do you have specific plans for your basement?" Yes. So this is, if you don't know the long boring story, this is the third version.
Yes. Third iteration.
Third and a half, because there was a half. Many years ago, let's have some more apple juice. I had a birthday that my wife Chris asked me, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want to build a spaceship." Which
in the
was
basement.
the really strange moment in our marriage. And she gave me a corner. And so I built some stuff that went in the corner. And then she went on a business trip and I was like, no way. I'm going to go further than that. And I went kind of around the corner. So that was kind of like a version and a half.
Yeah, it kind of spilled out.
And then it was like, well, let's do version number 2.5, and I built a huge section with a poker table and all this other stuff. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it turned out, and so I stopped. And I stopped it was almost a year before I did anything.
Yeah.
And then I came up with a plan. So Jason, yes, there was a plan I came up with, and I 3D modeled the whole thing. I 3D modeled the entire ship, actually.
Yes.
And
yes, you did.
Yeah. So when I got ready to start, she said, "You should film it."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was like,
how this happened.
Who would watch that?
You might as well film this and put it on YouTube.
So the Smugglers Room was born as a YouTube channel, and we started building it for the third time. So there's a full plan for it. Mm-hmm. We get asked a lot why there's not more progress on it and so on. What we've learned over 4 years of having a YouTube channel is that there's a lot involved in us making sure that we have an episode for you every week that has some kind of value that contributes to what you want to build, what project you're on. And partially because of that time constraint, we veer off often to other things. The other reason why we veer off
is stuff like this.
Yes.
Well, stuff like this is a room build. This goes in the room, so it fits. Part of why we veer off is that I have so many different interests, and my brain is constantly firing. There's all these other things that I want to build and do, and it just starts to explode.
Well, and we get super excited too about new movies coming out. Star Wars constantly has stuff.
Yeah.
I always am like, well, can we build something from The Thing? Can we build something from this? And I lose out on that a lot. But,
sometimes that resonates with you guys. Sometimes those other projects you enjoy. Sometimes you don't, and you don't watch, and that's fine. That's just what happens. But
it's actually a big basement.
It is a big basement.
It's a full open floor plan.
Yeah.
So what is it, like 1,000? No.
The whole basement is 1,800 square feet. So there's quite a bit of space. So yes, there's a plan. We're sticking to the plan, and we've been slowly moving towards it. This is part of that plan. There's a bar, there's a new wall, and all kinds of stuff that we're going to do. I'd really love 2023 to be a big year for the basement. We'd like progress to be made down there.
I would like progress to be made.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always blown away what you guys do finish in the time you have. I mean, it's amazing. It's just I'm also a super fan, so like
he's our number one fan.
Number one fan.
No, I don't need a refresher. If I have a refresher, we've got problems. Yeah, no, we have problems.
I told
Bill was talking about the black hole.
Oh,
I completely agree. That's an old school movie that is not only sci-fi, but I agree, Bill. I think that could be horror. Absolutely. There was some terrifying. That droid is one I'd love to have, and I cannot, for the life of me, remember his name. I was a very young kid when I saw that, but yeah.
What is your project that you're most proud of? Greg Speakman. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hold on to that. No, that's okay. Hold on to that one.
I'm sorry.
I bought an X-Tool laser to make panels with. I'm scared to start as I. I'd give you a little bit of illustrated lefty. I'll give you just one bit of advice with a laser when it comes to electronics and fire. Buy an electronic fire extinguisher. I know that sounds ridiculous, but if you go on to like Amazon or anywhere else, you can find fire extinguishers that are safe for electronics, and you just keep that with you. And that way, if you have to spray down something you're working on, it won't damage your laser cutter or any of the other things with it. Sorry, go ahead and say.
Oh, no. Brian actually has done a couple different YouTube videos talking about the laser cutters. And a lot of them have really good forums, user forums. So if you have questions, find those forums and ask the questions. Make sure you know what your laser cutter can cut before you cut it.
Absolutely. We're going to do a comparison over the Glowforge and OhmTech here soon because we've gotten a lot of questions about that, and that'll be a good one.
Right.
Nice. That's a good question.
Greg says, what is your one project that you're most proud of? Like, this is the one that made me believe I can do this. It's actually one that we haven't put up on the YouTube channel that made me feel like I could pull it off. And that was our Han Solo and Carbonite. Oh, yeah. So
because that was done beforehand.
Yeah, bless her heart. She's been supporting this hobby and this obsession for longer than you know. For Carissa, one year, she bought me a casting of the Han Solo and Carbonite. And it comes in 2 pieces. And
it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, it was super.
It's his face,
it's his hands, his feet,
and
his
I can
legs.
go hold Harrison Ford's hands downstairs.
Yes, she can moon over
it's
him.
For me too.
But making that really made me feel like I had a concept. Wow, there's a helicopter outside.
They're
about to get
us. They're coming for Mark.
Oh no!
Watch out!
I didn't say anything. Did I?
It made me understand that I understood the different aspects of making enough to pull something off that looked like that someone could go into that room and see it and know what it is and not question where I got it. They never say, "Ooh, did you make that?" You know, like that face. It's more like, where did you buy that? And that's when you're winning,
you're
right? Like, I didn't buy that. I made it. And that was the project. That was the gateway drug, I think, for me on being successful. But I'll tell you, that was a long time coming. There were a lot of stuff that didn't look good before that. Yeah.
Personally, for me, it's the Mando costumes. It's all the Mando stuff. I was terrified.
There was so much that you did. So if you guys have watched our Mando series of making things, I mean, Krista blew it out of the water. She
thank you.
She made so much of it. The costumes, all the fabric work she did,
the leather
work.
I'm still scared of.
I mean, she just knocked it out of the park. And even the armor, like she did all the research on how to mold
how to form the
Sintra and get it looking right. And I was like,
and we used some of Mark's bocce balls.
Bocce balls, yeah.
To form
some
bocce balls. Your balls made her armor. How does that feel?
Weird.
Interesting.
That's just weird.
Well, you guys wore those outfits around a Star Wars convention, right?
Yeah.
That's where you were. Star Wars Celebration.
Celebration
they
in
looked,
May.
Yeah.
They look freaking genuine.
Thank you. Pretty proud of those. They're not done yet, but
All right, guys. I mean, I think we're winding to the end of this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the support you give for the Smugglers Room. Thank you for watching the crazy stuff we do.
Yeah.
I certainly hope you go out and check out The Bloody Reel. Even if you're not a horror fan, I think that the camaraderie we have between each other and the way we talk and just the way we break down the films, it's entertaining. And we hope you enjoy that.
Yes.
Yeah. And apologies if we didn't get to your questions or your comments.
Yes.
We are seeing them, and we actually will go back and take a look and make sure we didn't miss anything.
Absolutely.
And thank you to all the super chats. I know we didn't pop y'all up there, but thank you for that.
Yeah.
And
really
thank you for joining us tonight.
It's been great. We're going to do more of these live sessions in the future because it's just fun hanging out with you guys.
Yes.
We appreciate everything. All right. Take care. Have a great night. Be safe. Have an awesome weekend in the shop. We'll see you soon.